Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 19 of our Let's Play series for Football Manager 2016. Alrighty, still in off-season, and I'm going to jump into it and keep processing through a bunch of off-season and see what happens. See how many offers and stuff we get through. A little bit hard in terms of transfers, because I don't really know what gaps we're actually going to need. So, there's a lot of players I'm interested in, but, currently we don't really need anyone. So if we kept our first team, I'd be happy. We actually have to, move a few guys out to actually make room, but I know that probably at least a couple of people are going to go, but until they actually go, it's a little bit hard to know, where we actually need people. So, anyway, it's just the way it is. Alright guys, I'm going to pause the video, and we'll be back soon with some more preseason. Alrighty guys, transfer silly season is definitely on us. A whole bunch of offers made for our players, so we're going to look at this. Alrighty, we've had a few little transfer events of our own. Moses, not Moses, who else did we bring in? Someone, where are we? Transfer history. Oliver Knudsen, brought him in on a free transfer. He was not sure he's going to end up being any good, but for a free transfer, only paying 600 a week, so why not? Who else have we got? So Serrero. Bunch of people didn't make, few people offered us a couple of million, so I went back and offered him out for 3 million, and I had about 4 clubs actually offered £3 million for Serrero, so I actually accepted all of those. So I assume at some stage Serrero will probably leaving for £3 million, which is a fairly good result, I think. Alrighty, Ruben Legoen, a bunch of offers here, so 1.2 million. Obviously it's not as much as we would want, but yeah, he's not going to play. He's definitely not going to play. So I think I'm not going to sell to PSV because I don't want to sell to a rival. Don't want to sell to the same team, but I'll accept to everybody else because they're all Serie A teams, which is fine. So I'll accept all of those. Alrighty, AC Milan in a beautiful reader world. 8 million. Oh, it's hard to turn down for a 19-year-old, isn't it? He's not going to be happy if we reject that. But I don't want to lose him. I really don't want to lose him. Since there's not really a whole lot of centre-backs either that we've got at the club, especially as Van Horn's probably going. If we sell Riedewald and lose both of them, could be a bit decimated at centre-back. I'm going to say I'm going to say 15 million, because if they offer, like I've said before, generally, if people offer over 10, I can't really refuse. As Ajax, I think you've got to sort of look at it. Generally, as in real life, for most of their players, if Ajax got offers of over or 10 or million or over, they really couldn't say no, because they are a selling club, they are a development club. So I think in that spirit, if we sort of get offers over 10 for most of our players, I'd have to take it and just say, it's part of the game. But for Riedewald, I'm going to say, if they did come back and offer 12 or 13, I don't think I could really knock it back. I'd like to, but I think he'd be really upset. Especially AC Milan being such a massive club. Alrighty, I'm going to say 15. I'm going to get rid of the next transfer thing. I'm going to say 15. I don't think they'll take it, but we'll see what happens. I think they might come back with a counter offer, but if it's 13, 14, I really think I can't say no. Alright, so there's 15. Alright, so they've withdrawn, that's fine. That's good. Right, Klaassen, 9 million. Oh no, not Klaassen. I don't want to lose Klaassen. I'm gonna say to him, I'm gonna say 14 with him. I'm gonna say 14 if they want that. If they want him for 14, they can have him. It's too much money, really. We can't knock back 14. So there's 13 and there's 14. 12 and a half. Oh, we're close. I don't really want the next transfer thing because I'm probably not going to see the benefit of it in this game. So I'm going to take that and exclude it. I'm going to say 24 months. I'm going to say 14. Yeah, I think 14 for Klaassen. He's valued at 7.5. He's a brilliant player. But I think really, if you got 14, bid for £14 million for him. We'll make it 15. See if they take it. Alright, they've accepted 15. I can't knock back 15, guys. I really can't. Yeah, 15 for Klaassen. I mean, yeah. You can't knock back £15 million for him, unfortunately. Alright, well that's fine. We've done that. I'm just going to say it's too good to turn down because that's the truth. Alrighty, El Ghazi, 4.4 million. I'm going to reject that. Like I said, I'm not going to try and I'm going to try and keep as many players as we can unless we get ridiculous offers for them. Rare want Anderson on loan. So, status first team attacking midfielder can be recalled. Interesting. I'm actually tempted to do that because obviously this is a Spanish first league Liga club. I think I'm actually going to say this. He's not going to figure for us this time around. I think one more season online, like his person. The problem is I suppose he's got fairly ambitious though, doesn't he? Interesting. I'm going to say key player, and if they take that, we'll let him go. Alrighty, I've made a bid for Mr. Geordie. Alright, that's fine. We're not really probably interested in him, I don't think. Van Grinsven is right under 19 goalkeeping coach. Cool, we're going to accept that, which would be good. Offered Olsen a new deal. Christoph Olsen. Alright, so given that Clarkson's going, I probably have to need a new centre mid. I'm going to look at that in a tick. I'm going to keep an eye on that. So given that he's going, we're going to look at what we need. So I want an approved deal for El Ghazi. I haven't got a problem with that. El Ghazi is a very good player. I'm going to tie him down for until 2020, which is another 4 years. So what have we got here? Minimum fee release. I'm going to make that 15. I think for most of our players, 15 is fair. 15 is not being unreasonable. It's not being, it's, it's just reality. Righty, try and get a few of these things down if we can. Top's goal scorer. I'm pretty happy to have these team of the year and top goal scorer in the division ones, because if they do that well, they've obviously played really well, and I'm happy to pay them a little bit extra. So unused substitute, yearly wage rise. I don't really like having that. I'm going to drop down to 10%, see if we can get it down. Alright, so it's not quite. So we'll give you 14. Drop these down a little bit. Goal bonus, yearly wage, drop that down. Minimum fee, no, I'm going to say 15. Alright, I'll give you your wage, I'll give you your appearance fee, I'll drop that down, I'm going to say 15 still. Alrighty, that's better. 15 is good. Alrighty, we've signed him, which is fine, so recommend signing. Don't usually come up with anyone but, Gil Semeo. You're Dutch, and you've got a massive potential. Why on earth have I not come across you before? 400k in compensation, actually approached to sign him. Wow, well that's, usually when you ask staff members for signings it's usually rubbish, but, so he's got some good physicals, off the ball needs a bit of work, got good finishing, first touch needs some work, heading, dribbling, good composure, good determination. What's your personality? Fairly determined, which is actually fairly decent. Interesting, I'm actually probably pretty happy to actually give you a contract and actually pay 400k compensation. Where on earth is Brabant United? Is it even a Dutch club? They are a Dutch club. They don't even play anywhere though. Wow. So we actually had a oh, they played the Jupiler League. Oh, wow. Oh no, Den Bosch. Maybe it was Brabant United then. Is that like a second team string for Den Bosch? It must be. Reserve squad, no. Interesting, no idea who Brabant United are. Yeah, Gil Semeo. He's actually looks quite a decent player. How are we going for scouting though? I haven't really got much scouting. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put him on a shortlist and get our main man, Mr. Olsen, to scout him out for a couple of weeks and see what his potential and all that kind of stuff is, and then we potentially probably will sign him. Interesting. Alrighty, Van der Horn to sign for Mainz for 2.1 million, which is like is a pretty good one. Going to accept that. Cool. Yeah, good. Cool, so Van der Horn is gone, which is good, so we've got a bit more money in our kitty if we need it. Stamps, a whole bunch of scouting reports here. Not scouting reports, new contracts for staff members and things, so I did all of those off camera. There's no one here and no one here. Cool, that's fine. Finishing scouting Bakan, Mr. 16-year-old. So we pick up him for very, very little. So I'm actually going to do this, I think. 16-year-old Norwegian, 3.5 potentially more, probably 4-star potential. Pick him up for very, very cheap. And yeah, he could be quite a decent player. Can play sort of natural in 4 positions, which is quite unusual as well. So midfield, centre, and attack, and then midfield right and attacking midfield right. So got some good physicals. Need a bit of work in quite a few areas, but he could be a decent player. Yeah, so especially for such little money, I think we're actually going to make an offer and see if we can actually pick him up for, we'll say 200. Cool, done. I mean, if you're getting youngsters with 3.5 or 4-star potential for 200k, then you can't really sneeze at that. So, started scouting him, which is good. UK and Ireland, yeah, that's fine. You're a Basel, you're a Czech goalkeeper. You are good. Backroom advice. Anything interesting, guys? Recommend striker, Algerian, Croatian, not interested. Nigerian, Cameroonian, Mexican, Portuguese, alright, that's fine. Transfer list, Leslie Desar. Yeah, I probably actually agree, to be honest. 23 years old, he's got a bit of a potential to go, but he's probably never going to be really a first team starter. So we'll say add to unwanted and sell for asking price. And we'll say $1 million, probably won't get that for him. But we'll see how we go. Alright, there we go. Cool. A whole bunch of things here. I'm not really interested though at the moment. Almere City, where are they? Are they in the Jupiler League? That's fine. Increased ability, high potential, tutoring. Who's tutoring? Van Rijn for Owusu. Probably not yet. I'll set up our tutoring once we know our full squad. Alrighty, Ajax's Abakane offered accepted, which is good. So we'll give you about a K a week. 3-year contract, yearly wage rise 10%, 10 games, I'll make that 15, make it 2.5, give you a little bit more signing bonuses. Cool, right, drop those down, 15, give you 3. Cool, done. Done. Looks like Huntelaar is going off. Looks like Schalke's had bids for Huntelaar accepted, which is interesting. So someone who's, sort of a fair way through his career. If we can go back to where's the news? News. Headlines. No, it's not here. Where's Huntelaar? Around the world? Nope. Class Jan Huntelaar. Yeah, so if a 32-year-old player to actually get a whole bunch of bids, so a couple of million bids, which is pretty good. So how did he go last season? 30 appearances, 11 goals. Yeah, not too wonderful, but not too bad really for a 32-year-old. Interesting. Alrighty, Leslie Desar failed to attract offers, so we drop this down to 750 if we can get it. 725, there we go. Alrighty, Panathinaikos made a bid for Heininger, £97,000. No, sorry. May not be amazing anymore, but we're definitely going to keep him. Alright, Zivkovic, 5.25 million. Oh, no. No, he's still got a lot of potential to go. I'm not ready to let him go. He hasn't actually played for Ajax yet, so, well, not for me anyway. So, I'm going to reject it and say it's not good enough. Actually, say he's a hot prospect. I'm not interested in letting him go. DeLong gained a little from Duarte, so Frankie de Jong. Offered players, Overmars, a whole bunch of new contracts. So, Lasse Schöne has signed a new contract, which is good for us. Scouting reports. Not really finding it because these are sort of like the lower league teams now that we're scouting out. So not really finding anything, but it is good to do. You never know. Finished scouting Andreas. Oh, I can't now pronounce that last name. 15-year-old striker. So only 3 and a little bit more potential. Could be picking up very, very cheap though. Don't think we'll grab him this time around. I think we'll wait another season until we'll leave him on our transfer list. It's only 15 obviously, so long way to go before he actually be playing for us, so we'll keep an eye on him. Retained as top spot in Holland, of course. Victor Fischer has a new contract, which is good, a new 3-year contract, so that is quite good. Love his stats actually coming back up again, which is really pleasing to see, given that he was actually out for so long. Looks like he's played some international games and getting back into training and stuff, and his stats and stuff are coming back up again. So that is very, very pleasing to see him. He hasn't had any long-term injuries or long-term problems. Alrighty, so Rayo have offered a end-of-season contract. I'm only playing 10% of his wages. I'm not worried about that. But he actually does have a key player, which means he should play most matches. And he can be recalled, which is good. So I'm actually going to let him go and say give him a first team football in the Liga. So if he actually gets a full, gets 20 or 30 games in the Liga, that would be really, really good for his development. So I'm happy to let him go there. I think I'm actually going to pause the video, guys, and sort of play through a little bit, and we'll jump back into it once we get a bit of achievement unlocked, overachiever. I think I'll pause the video and we'll jump back into it once we get some different things happening. So I'll sort of see what happens once this next day processes, and then we'll see. Alrighty, Leslie to star, still no offer, so we'll drop down to 500. Set instructions. Offers Valera Germain. Oh, he's a good player too, isn't he? For only 3.5 million. It's actually transfer listed 3.4 million. That's a bit bananas. It's a bit frustrating because look, PSV are interested in him. Damn. But no, he doesn't meet our criteria, so we're gonna stick with our criteria. Granada have made a bid of 1.6 million for Serrero. No, we have some offers for him for 3 million, so I'm not interested in that. Under 19 league invitation, it's already been done, which is fine. Alright guys, I'm going to pause the video and we'll be back soon with some exciting events. Alright guys, I had to show you this. Klaassen is going to Juventus. Yeah, very sad, but there's nothing we can do about it. For 15 million, I mean, you can't knock it back. Alright guys, so we're going to speak to him and say you'll always be welcome anytime. Fantastic servant, you're welcome back at any time. Had a great time here, really helped me improve my game. I'd love to come back here one day. Oh, that's lovely. So I'm not one of his favourite personnel. I went, nah, alright, that's disappointing. Alright, we're going to accept that, unfortunately. We just have to let him go. Davey, one of my favourite players. Although, to be honest, he actually didn't have an amazing season last season, so, but he's still very disappointed to let him go. Alright, there we go. Davey Klaassen, 15 million. I expect he will do very, very well at Juventus. He is a bit of a gun player. Yeah, so he's earning a whole stack, 52k a week, so obviously he's doing very, very well for himself, so good on him. Cool. Alright, nothing jumps out there. Well, John Stones is actually going to Man United, so... How much did he go for? 31 million pounds, interesting. Interesting. Alright guys, going to pause the video again, and we'll be back shortly. Oh dear guys, Arsenal have made a £14 million bid for Riederwald. Oh dear me. I don't know. I mean, obviously it's Arsenal, so I'd highly suspect if we knocked it back, he would be very, very disappointed. 14 million as well, that's a lot of money. I'm just a little bit worried that we don't have a whole lot of central defenders, really. I'm not quite sure that we can knock it back, though. Can we really? I don't know. I mean, I'd have to say that if we do knock it back, he's not going to be happy, is he? Because really, it's Arsenal, so if we reject it, he's going to be upset that we didn't let him go. What's his personality like, though? Balance. He's a wonder kid, too, isn't he? Yeah, he's got a minor issue there, wants to leave to play in a better division. Yeah, he's not going to be happy. I don't think we can say no, unfortunately. For 14 million... ridiculous amount of money for a 19-year-old. Obviously, no, we're not. It isn't because he's going to be, like you said, a wonder kid. He's going to be probably a world-class player. I'm just really worried. I don't want to keep selling our players because we're not going to make any progress. So we just keep selling players, but at the end of the day, it's also sort of that catch-22 that if we can't just keep players indefinitely because we are, we're not a massive club. Ajax is not a massive club, and if we keep players here against their will, they're really going to be unhappy, and it can really do hurt. Like I've done it before. I did it as a test run actually once in, I think it was last season's Ajax. Sort of jumped ahead to the second season and then had a bunch of offers and actually just flat out rejected everything, no matter what happened. And ended up just completely destroying morale, and the players were in revolt, and we actually had an absolutely awful season. So, like, yeah, it's easy to sort of sit back and say, well, maybe we'll just reject it, but it can actually really destroy the team. So, unfortunately, I think we have to say yes. For 14 million, it's just ridiculous. Alrighty, that's life. I've had a 350,000 bid for Leslie Desas, that's fine. El Ghazi, 5.5 million, Lazio. Nope, I'm going to say hot prospect. Everton are after Milik, oh my god. I'm getting gutted at the moment. Not even interested. Oh, this is another one. Christian Bakane. You've already seen this guy, haven't you? Yeah, we've already seen him. That's cool. Not a problem. Cool. Right, I'm just going to accept that. So he's going to jump into the club. Which is good. Good. So how's he looking? Yeah, so he's got 4, wow, even more, potentially more, 4 and a bit star potential. So needs a bit of work. Needs a little bit more, probably some work onto his personality. So we'll get some tutoring and stuff happening there. Yeah, but he obviously needs some work, but he's only 16 years old, massive amount of potential, so I think he could develop up really well. So it's good. So he's going to be moving him into our under-19 team, which is good, sending him on a language course. Alright guys, I'm going to pause the video again. Hopefully we don't lose any more players. I'm going to start looking for replacements, definitely at centre-back. I think we're going to need definitely a number 1 centre-back now that Rita Water's gone. Don't think there's anyone else in the club that is really going to be able to match it. So we know there's no one in the first team. What about B team? I don't think there's anyone here either. So what do we got in centre backs? We've got Oliver Knudsen, you're definitely not. Van Bruggen, no, you're not, definitely not either. You're not there yet. You haven't got a whole lot of potential either, so you're not going to cut it. Damien Morani, you're not going to cut it either. Alright, so I think we need a first choice centre back, a really good centre back. May have to pay a fair bit for them. I'd like to actually get a Dutch one. I'm going to actually sort of have a look through the Dutch teams, the Dutch national team even potentially, and like maybe the under-19s, and actually have a look at maybe some really good Dutch players. Even if you have to pay like a fair bit for them, I'm happy to do it, because we do have a fair bit of money. So we've got 21 sitting there already, and that's without Riedewald's thing. So potentially we're going to have, what, £35 million sitting there, so we're a massive transfer budget if we need to spend it. And maybe we need to. Maybe I'm thinking I don't really like buying necessarily players all the time, but to actually make progress as Ajax, maybe we've actually got to blend buying some really established players, actually spending a fair bit of money on them, with like still developing some of our youngsters to actually sort of meet our goal of the Champions League within 5 seasons. So we've got another 4 seasons to go. So I'm going to look at that, guys. I'm also going to set up training and stuff. It's going to be pretty stock. I might as well do that now, actually, quickly. So we're back in training. So what I'm going to do is take that off, put match training back up to full, get that off. There we go, it's about, get that up to full, put it onto match tactics, just get our tactical stuff back up. It's not too bad. Obviously it does drop during the season though, so we haven't got too much to go. So once, I'll just, get that back up to floored, and we'll sort it out. I'm going to put it onto fitness just for a little bit, for a couple of weeks. Onto probably heavy, actually, very high. Still only medium workload, so I'm actually I'm going to drop match training back a little bit, so we get to a heavy workload, because I'm actually not playing yet, so fitness training is fine. We've still got a couple of weeks for our first game against Groningen, which is the Super Cup, so that's fine. Alright guys, I'm going to pause the video and we'll be back soon. Alrighty guys, got a bit of an event here. So, Riedewald has just left the clubs, and this has spurred a meeting by the players. Some of them are unhappy. So I'm just going to ask them what the problem is, and feel the squad lack depth in defence, and we could do with a few additions. I agree, and we're going to sign some players. So what have we got here? Options. Don't think, no. Happy with the quality, no. Looking to delve into the transfer market, yes. Don't care. Doing what's best for the team. Alright, delve into the transfer market. Cool, alright, done. So made a few people happy. Cool. So, a bunch of our guys have left the club, so I'm going to show you all that now. Transfer history for this season. So, we've got, obviously, Van Horn's gone, Klaassen's gone, Serrero's gone for 3 million, so he's gone. Ruben Legaun has left for 1.2 million. Riedewald, as we obviously seen, has gone for, well, it says 6.5 there, but obviously it's, it's 14 million all up eventually, so he's now at Arsenal, damn him. Anyway. Right, we actually sent Lucas Anderson out on loan as well. He's at Rayo in the Spanish top tier league. So do have a recall clause on him, which is good. So he should get a lot of good experience there. Also, actually, Zivkovic, who made a decision, actually had a bit of a surprise offer for Mr. Zivkovic here from Toulouse in the Ligue 1 or Ligue 1 in France. And yeah, we've actually accepted it. So they said he would be a valuable first-team member, which means a key player. So basically, he should play in most matches. He'd obviously be playing as a striker, and also had a recall clause in there. So I'm actually pretty happy with that. He can actually get experience in a better league than the Eredivisie, or one that's ranked in a better league than the Eredivisie anyway. Yeah, and if we need him, like if we've got some injuries or God forbid one of our players left or something like that, we could actually recall him and actually bring him back. So I'm actually really happy to let him go and actually hopefully get some really good experience, because I don't think he'd get a whole lot of games at Ajax this season. So definitely next season. I think no matter what, next season is probably going to be his time. Yeah, right. So that's pretty much all the movements and stuff for now, guys. So we've got a pretty whopping transfer budget of £31 million sitting there. So I'm scouting out some players. Unfortunately, given the sort of the level, obviously the Eredivisie isn't a massively highly ranked team. We're not really going to be able to bring any probably established Dutch team players. But there is Mr. Jorrit Hendricks at PSV. He's actually someone as a centre-back that I'm quite interested in bringing in. So where is he? Here we are, Jorrit Hendricks. So he's at PSV. He actually can play all through the middle. So centre-back, defensive mid, and midfield centre. So he's a little bit more rounded than... He's probably more of a natural defensive mid, but I'm actually thinking about playing him at centre-back. Some of his stats need a bit of work, but he's only 21. He has got a fair bit more potential to come, which is good. So he's only 3-star at the moment. He's got 3.5, perhaps a little bit more potential to go. He's got some good abilities here, so some good, some good wraps and stuff here. Will only cost us between 2.5 and 4.5, which is a little bit of a surprise coming at PSV. It wouldn't cost a whole lot in terms of wages either. So he's not a bad player. He needs a bit of work here and there, but he's got like some really good composure. His physicals are fairly good. Position needs a little bit of work, but he has, as we can see, obviously he's a little bit more like a rounded player. So I'm actually thinking about playing him there, and maybe even switching one of our roles to a ball-playing defender. Usually I don't sort of play with that, but given if we had sort of a bit more of a rounded player here, could be something a little bit interesting to play with. It could be something, we could actually potentially play with that. So thinking about him, but I am scouting out a whole bunch of other guys at the moment. So, I'll keep going that, and we'll make a decision about that at some stage. Alright guys, I'm going to pause the video again, and we'll run through some more of preseason, and we'll be back soon. Alrighty guys, bit of an interesting development here. I'm not sure if things going to come of it. I thought I'd just show you nonetheless. Kenny T has been transfer listed at Porto by request, so I assume he hasn't played enough games and he wants to leave. So previously he had no intention of joining us, but now this has happened. He's actually extremely interested in joining us. Problem is that they want £14.5 million for him, which is way too much. Obviously, he's a very, very good player. It would be still our best right back, even considering we've got a couple of youngsters in there. I don't think I would buy him. I'm not going to buy him for $14.5 million. I'd probably pay $7 million, I suppose, because we've got a massive transfer budget. So I think he's probably better than Van Rijn, to be perfectly honest, especially only 20, and he can improve quite a bit more. I know from when he was here that he can improve quite a bit more. So I would actually be happy to bring him back to the club. I think he's a very, very good player. And yeah, anyway, I'm going to keep an eye on this. I'm going to keep an eye on what happens. We may potentially... There's no one really interested in him at the moment that I can see. There's only us. Obviously, $4.5 million is way too much. It's not going to pay him. Not going to pay that kind of money for him. But I'll probably pay 6 or 7, maybe 6, 7, maybe even 8. If we get him for 8, I'd probably be happy. I mean, it's a fair bit of money for a player that we did let leave. We only paid $7 million for him. So I suppose if we paid $7 million for him, getting back. Basically, we've got him back for nothing. I'd be more than happy to do that. So I'm actually going to put a bid in, a cheeky bid in for, I'll say $8 million. I think they're going to knock it back, but I'll keep an eye on it over the rest of the transfer window, see what happens, and they may sort of lower their demands if no one's interested. So just thought I'd show you guys that. What else has happened? Not really. I had a whole bunch of offers for a few of our players, Milik and Yunus, Van Rijn, who else? El Ghazi. I've knocked them all back, but Yunus is actually quite unhappy. to the point that I'm actually getting, he's actually gone to the press, so I'm actually getting questions from them about it. So I'm not quite sure. I don't really want to let him leave, although Leverkusen, Germany, because obviously he's German, actually offered, I think it was $5.5 million for him. So I don't know. I don't want to let him go, but if he is really unhappy, I'm just thinking, because we actually do have a few young guys that we could actually bring in. Like I'd actually even almost be tempted to leave El Ghazi, not have him as like a backup striker, actually play him either on the left or the right. Which is a natural right, so maybe we'll play him on the right, and then we'll have like Nuri, who could play on the left, and we'd even bring back Zivkovic from Toulouse in the French league, and we could actually potentially give him a game, or he could be our backup striker. So, and then also we've actually got the potential of having we've got a couple of guys like Vaclav Cerny, who I actually would really like to give a bunch of games, because I think he would develop really quite quickly. So I'm almost tempted to let Yunus go. I think if Leverkusen makes another bid, if I can get £8 or £9 million for him, I think I'd probably let him go. Seeing as we didn't pay very much for him. Where's the messages here? They're here somewhere. Anyway, just have a look in here. Mr. Yunus. So I only bought him for 1.8. So if we get 7 or 8, £9 million. I mean, he did have a very good season now, which is a little bit why I'm a little bit relaxed. He did a lot better than I thought he would. So I don't know. Obviously, he's very unhappy. Yeah, he's actually has last to leave. He hasn't put in a transfer request or anything like that though, so it's a little bit way to go. But we'll see. In terms of friendlies, we are playing a few friendlies here. So we've locked organised some here, as you can see, guys. So we've won our first, we're all against pretty small teams. I've set one up against PSV, it's a little bit like a bit of a money-making one. So we should make about £500,000 from this game. Not that we really need the money, but, you know. I've also got the Super Cup against Groningen. I'll probably come back and show you guys that match. And then I'll probably, keep playing through until, show you anything that happens and see what happens. Alrighty, guys, I'll be back soon. And we're back. Alrighty, so developments. What's happened? I don't think any transfers really have happened. Transfer history, no. No one else has come in, I don't think. Oh, we brought in Gil Samero, striker. So we paid compensation, 350k for him from FC Den Bosch. So he's a 16-year-old. He's a striker. He's got 4-star plus more potential. So he could be a absolutely brilliant player. So he's actually quite excited to get him in. So that was actually our new coach. Actually got this guy on my radar. So I'm actually very, very pleased with that. Which probably wouldn't have picked him up otherwise. He was sort of playing down in the non-league football. So it's a little bit surprising. Everyone else. What about Christian Bacane? Did I mention him? I think I did. Yep. Oliver, Ruben Jensen, Svensson, and Christoph Ayer. Yep, cool. No one else has left, I don't think. Zivkovic has gone on loan to Toulouse. Leslie Desar's gone. Schroeder Becker's on loan. Alright, in terms of some transfers that we're going to need to make. I should probably mention, I'd skipped through the Super Cup. So it was a 2-0 win against against FC Groningen, which was good. So a very comfortable win for us. It was 2-0. Bazawer and Christoph Ayer actually made his debut, which is good. So pretty pleasing to see. You actually already see he's making some developments here, which is quite good. So I'm going to jump into training and individual training and setups and all that kind of stuff soon. But I think he's going to be a very, very good player for us. That is very good. Alrighty, so I've still got couple of friendly games to go. We've still got 9 days to go before our game against FC Twente. So I want to bring in a couple of players. So we're lacking pretty much central defenders. I think I'm going to send one of these right backs out on loan. What's that SPT there? Unhappy with his manager treatment of teammate. Interesting. Who must that be? Oh, it must be Yunus. That's a new little thing, little status, whatever you want to call it. That wasn't in the last year, so actually, unhappy with who's that then? SPT. Interesting. It must be Yunus, because that's the only player that's unhappy, because Yunus is fairly unhappy, so anyway, that's fine. So, actually, I couldn't resist this, guys. Johan Gurkov, I brought him into the club on a trial, for a 2-week trial. I just couldn't resist it. I don't know what to do. He's only here for another 7 days. I actually really like his stats. I think he, like it says here, key player for the team. I think he would be a brilliant player. I don't know though. I don't. Obviously, he can be fairly injury prone. He's actually does have a good personality though, fairly professional, which would be a good tutoring for us to use. Actually, doesn't say like injury prone though here, which is interesting. So obviously, injuries has sort of been his problem over the last few years. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, guys. I don't want to break my rule, but I don't know, just for him, for my man. I don't know. I'll think about it, guys. I'll see what happens. But yeah, anyway, so he's on the line. He's got really brilliant stats. So he could play sort of anywhere basically across the attacking midfield area and midfield centre. So yeah, I'd say I'm actually almost tempted to let Eunice go and actually give Gulka a season at the attacking midfield left and see how he went. And anyway, I'll think about it. All right, so who else have we got? Yeah, so we need a centre back, potentially even two. I'm thinking, because obviously we've got Vigeva here who's can play centre back, but he's not really meant to. He's not really a centre back, I don't think personally. Yeah, so I'm thinking maybe one or maybe even two. So the options. What are we looking at in terms of our options? Go to our shortlist. Whole bunch of players in our shortlist, as you can see now. So I'm going to filter by position, and we'll look at central defenders. Alrighty, so these are the guys. So we've got Odvar and Vincent here. He's probably someone we're going to pick up next season, though. So he's obviously not ready to play yet anyway, so that's fine. So Timothy Mensah at Man United, he's gone on loan to Heracles, so he's out. We're going to keep him on the shortlist later just to keep how things goes. So I think the two options basically we've got. We could bring in Nathan Ake. From Chelsea. We could actually apparently get him for 400 to 700k, which is very, good. Problem is though, he's 21 years old already. His stats aren't really all that amazing because he hasn't played a whole lot at Chelsea. Also, he's fairly susceptible to injuries, so he's not ready to play yet. I'm not really sure whether he would develop. So what I'm actually thinking of doing, I think you bring in Jorrit Hendricks. Obviously, Olympic Lyonnais want him or interested in him. So I'm thinking he would be a very, very good transfer. He would be sort of our starter alongside Veltman. Obviously, he's not really... I can play sort of defensive mid, and maybe that's his best position, but I think he would be a fairly good centre-back. I'm actually thinking also of doing Wesley Holt at Lazio. So 22-year-old, actually went to Lazio from AZ for 350k last season. Didn't really play much. He hasn't played much, so apparently we could pick him up for 375k, or... What I'm thinking of doing, 22 years old already, he does have a fair bit of potential though. I actually quite like his physicals. I think his physicals are very, very good for a centre-back. Really good strength. Quick enough, good fitness, good jumping reach. Position needs a bit of work, and so does his marking and tackling, and also his mentals. But I'm thinking 22, he's obviously got time to develop still. Apparently he could get another star and a half, even a little bit more, of development. So what I'm thinking of bringing in Jorrit Hendricks for however much we have to pay for him. What's the recommendations here? 2.5 to 4.5. I haven't got a problem paying that in any way, shape or form. I think that's actually a really good deal for him. I think he would be quite a good... He can develop a fair bit more, and I think he could be a very, very good player. I think I'm going to bring him, and I also think I'm going to actually make a loan deal for Wesley Holt for the season, and also have a future fee in there. So I can see how he goes over the course of the season, see if he does develop as I think he may do. And then we can pick him up, at the end of the season, or even halfway through the season if he does really well, we can pick him up. But yeah, I think that's what I'll do. So might as well do both those now, guys, while I'm here. So we're going to put an offer in for Jorrit Hendricks. Cool, make an offer. So it said 2.5 to 4.5. So we make an initial offer of 3, and we'll put in after league appearances. Put in 40 games of another. We'll put another 500k. Suggest that. Alright, so they want a fair bit more. So what we're going to do, we're going to drop this down to 3, and I'm going to say 40 games will give you another million, which will make it 4 million. And that's good. Alright, so that is good. I think that's actually pretty much a bargain for him, to be honest. I think he's probably, once he develops a bit, will be a Dutch international player. I wouldn't surprise me anyway. I know he's probably a little bit way to go, but I think he could be if we get his stats done right. If we get his marking, tackling up a little bit, his positioning as well, potentially a little bit of his physicals, I think he could be a very, very good player. Also, Wesley Holt here. So, he's not transfer listed, but he is available for loans. So I think what we're going to do, I'm going to make an offer for loan for this season for a loan for the for this season. We'll pay 100% of your wages if you want, 20k. I will say 80% because he's actually using a fair bit of money. So we'll say the full. We'll actually take out the recall thing. We don't want him to be recalled. We're going to say future fee. I'm going to put in 750k, which is probably more than recommended, but I'm more than happy to pay that if he's if he works out. So I'm going to say first team centre back and see what they think. They're pleased. That is good. So they're actually really happy with that. So we're going to pay him 80% of his wage, which is £16,500 a week, which is not a whole lot really. End of the season, he can't be recalled. And I'll have a 750k future fee, which would be good. So we're going to make those offers and see how they go. That's basically going to sort our centre back issues out. Alright guys, I think I'm going to put a pause in the video here. So it's 35, or more than 35 minutes on the video for this episode. So I think I'm going to put a cut in the episode here. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. I hope you're enjoying this series as a whole. And let me know any comments, suggestions, all that kind of stuff. Always interested to hear what you have to say. So, alright guys, hope you've all had a wonderful day, and I'll see you all for the next episode.